Greg and Elisa Roels. We manage the Cape Fear region in North Carolina, which comprises probably about 4 or 5 different areas or beaches. Wrightsville Beach, Carolina Beach, Curry Beach, Bald Head Island, and the city of Wilmington. And before that, Lisa was a real estate agent, doing quite well, and I was retired. And Elisa had enough of that. So we needed something that was very symbiotic with the real estate business and our lifestyle and our backgrounds. And iTrip was right at the top of the list.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. What, as far as kind of a day in the life of your all's world today, how long have you been doing iTrip, and then kind of what's a day in the life look like for you guys?
We've been doing iTrip for about 9 months now, and it was challenging in the beginning, but it's really, really fun. I don't know, I'll let you elaborate on that more.
There's the good, the bad, the ugly is closing a new owner, a new property, bringing them on and learning all the fun things that you have to do to really make that property be successful. That's a great part of the business, and love doing that to this day. Some of the challenging things might be learning the system, all the operational stuff, but the good thing about iTrip is there's a lot of support. Every time we put in a request for support, the response was, if not immediate, at least within time to help us out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And me being in real estate, I specialize in waterfront properties, so it was nice to go to help a client and then just move right into the investment property management, and we've already established a relationship, so it just worked perfectly, and those are our best clients, the ones that stick with you.
Awesome. So how would you say you're 9 months in, how would you describe how your business has been going?
We want more.
We're 9 months in, but I have to say that I was surprised to see how successful, what the revenue took in. I thought it would be a lot less than it is, and we've actually managed to kind of stay afloat, without really losing any money. I think that.
Well, the first year we thought we'd be underwater.
Yeah.
You take that original investment out of the picture, and you look at just your P&L, and pretty successful for first year business, starting from scratch.
Absolutely, that's one definitely. Didn't realize that was going to happen.
So as now you're heading into next calendar year, obviously you still got a nice runway to get some more properties before we hit the big summer season. What's your all's outlook for next year?
Mm-hmm. Well, we would love to double our properties, if not more,
right.
For sure.
So our first focus right now is still marketing and getting out there and meeting new owners and trying to close the business. The second thing we're trying to do is just operationalize the business to our particular territory.
If you would, maybe, and again, I know it's only been 9 months, but maybe share a story about your interaction with iTrip and the support that you've been, I know you touched on that just a little bit, but not only the leadership, but also just a story about being involved.
Right.
Is iTrip really there to help you have your back?
I've got a great story there, Tom. Like I said, the most exciting thing for us is bringing on a new owner. Used to be in sales, so when you close a deal, your adrenaline goes up. And we were having a little trouble with breaking into one of our markets and getting some of the properties there. And this was a high value target we were after. We got a good lead on it. Met with them a couple times. It was us and another competitor, and I needed some help. And called Steve up, the founder, one of the owners, and said, I need your help. And he was more than happy to put in writing how he's going to be there and support us as a business and make sure that we're successful together as a team, not just North Carolina Beaches, but that owner. We're going to help them be successful in reaching their goals for rental property.
Awesome. Very cool.
Was that Chris Kennedy?
Chris Kennedy,
Ah,
yeah.
gotcha.
There's a good and bad story there.
Tell me about, one of the questions a lot of people have, and I'm guessing you guys probably had it as well when you're in your very final stages of making a decision to move forward. Is this just a honeymoon on the front end, and are they really going to be there on the back end or after we get underway? Maybe, I don't know if that was a fear of your all's or not, but if it was, maybe share a little bit about what your concern was and what's happened since you've been involved.
I don't think that was a
Or any
concern.
There was a concern, but when we did our own due diligence, we asked for people we could talk to, folks that have been in the business not just for a while, but newbies like we were going to be. The response we got back from those owners, those franchisees, was very positive.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of put us over the hump and alleviated some of our fears as far as those next steps and making that investment in the business.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone that, you guys have been in 9 months now, so let's go back a year when you were kind of just starting your due diligence. What would you guys say to another couple? Because I know you guys work this business, and we get a lot of couples, whether they're still have children in the house or they're empty nesters or whatever, or empty nesters with the kids coming back. That seems to be a trend these days. But what would you all say to
Yeah,
to
we have all that going on, by the way.
Well, you're the only one in the world that's got that.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that if you're going to work together with your spouse, just like in any business, it's very challenging. But you really need to set your priorities and your responsibilities apart, and just stick to them, because I think that's going to keep you in the long run successful.
Yeah, if you're going to go in this with your spouse, you better have a strong marriage. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you might want to take that part.
Okay, just one strong part. Maybe that's a little bit much over there.
Right.
What surprised, you're 9 months in, what surprised you the most in a positive way in the iTrip business that maybe was an aha for you, or just a surprise?
I think that administrative-wise, I've ran a business before, but I never really had to pay out so much. There's just a lot of vendors and payroll. We've got some employees, and the system is really, really good about at month end. It just really just labels everything for you, just exactly who you need to pay and how much, and it's always accurate. It's never. I mean, it was off maybe once because I double check my books and everything, and I not because I didn't trust iTrip, just because I just was weary, I guess, about it. But everything is always to the penny, on point. So, and that's part that Greg's not really involved.
No,
in
not at all.
But
maintenance and sales.
We've got to pay 5 different taxes and all this stuff, and everything's just always exact. So it really makes it easy to just manage. Mm-hmm.
What would you say has been the funnest part of the business to date?
I used to have an office job. I used to deal with private equity every other week. CEOs and VPs and got into an area where I was just dealing at a real high level and got away from the customer. And with iTrip, I get to deal with the customer every day, whether it's an inquiry or welcoming them to the home, or doing some repairs or whatever it might be. I'm seeing them, I'm touching, having that relationship with them every day, and that's something I missed from my early years in a previous industry, and I'm getting that back.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say are a couple other things that people that are considering iTrip ought to know about iTrip? It's a real broad topic. If you're looking at iTrip, you ought to think about, or you ought to consider.
I think it's the marketing.
What?
Just that. If you compare yourselves to some other vacation rental management companies in your area, then you have to take in consideration the marketing, and having that marketing for you and you don't even have to think about it. It has been just one step why we are successful.
Let me follow on that. It's not necessarily marketing iTrip. It's
Marketing the property.
iTrip can market that property to fill it up. They have the relationships. So and that was one of my biggest doubts, even after the investment I made in the business. Can they really follow through and fill this property up? After the first, I would say 2-3 months, all those fears were gone. They can do it.
The system works.
The system works. Right.
Not so much on all the amazing 5-star proproperties, but all the properties.
Right.
Across the board.
Yeah, we have some
Challenging properties
We
that
have some
get booked up
challenging they book up all the time. People not looking at those reviews, Tom.
That's good. People always want to know about the integrations of the systems and all that. Have you all found that to work like we promoted it to you?
Yes,
Well,
and I have to say, we were very weary about paying extra for Airbnb and booking PAL, and we were just like, we don't need to do that, or our properties are booking up fine, or and so I was like, I don't know, let's just do it. And then when you see all these bookings that come in from all these outside,
Vacation portals.
I'm just like, wow, I was just amazed. I mean,
Right.
they really do fill up when places that you didn't think that was going to
Right.
happen.
Awesome. All right, last question here is, knowing everything that you know today and what you've experienced, would you buy the business again, yes or no, and why?
Would definitely buy it again. iTrip has followed through on their promise of really assisting us in being successful in our marketplace. It's very symbiotic with our other business, which is real estate. Those two things are really going to feed off each other, and we're building a business that's our own. I'm not working for somebody else, and I don't get the feeling I'm working for iTrip Corporate. They're helping me be successful in my territory with my franchise.